Well, that's a little surprising. And given the way this season has gone, I'm going to call surprising good. Not all surprises are good, of course, but in a season like this, where things are just kind of, everything just kind of sucks, I think surprise is mostly going to be a good thing because at this point, just throw some curveballs, make some things interesting, give me something different from the crap product that I've seen out there on the field so far. So, I usually don't make videos about things like this because odds are good that nothing will really come of it, but the whole Seahawks universe kind of erupted when this happened last night. So I decided to go ahead and talk about it for a little bit here. I think that as a Seahawks content creator, I need to discuss things that all Seahawks fans are buzzing about. So last night, Kam Chancellor, one of the most beloved Seahawks of all time, one of the few guys at this point I don't want to say few guys, but one of the few superstars from that team who left on completely good terms with nobody having anything negative to say about them, had something to say on Twitter. And when Kam talks, we as a fan base listen because we pretty much all love Kam. The only thing that Kam ever did that seemed to go against the concept of team was when he held out for 2 games at the start of the 2015 season. And compared to how we've seen some certain Seahawks superstars act on their way out, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett maybe, Marshawn Lynch maybe, it depends on your perspective. But compared to all that, given how Kam Chancellor wrapped things up, it was a breath of fresh air to see the way Kam exited stage right. So pretty much all Seahawks fans love Kam, and when he says something, we take note. So yesterday he has this tweet: "Me and Jody Allen need to have a discussion about the future of the Seahawks. Just saying." And the Seahawks nation blew up. What did he mean? What's he talking about? What could he be referring to? And if you've been in my streams for the last couple years, you would know that the possibility of Kam Chancellor becoming a coach for the Seattle Seahawks is something that we frequently brush on. A lot of people want him to be defensive coordinator. To that, I have always said, let him work his way up a coaching tree first. But people love Kam and people want him to continue to be involved in this team. So people liked hearing this. So me and Jody Allen need to have a discussion about the future of the Seahawks. What does that mean? Why would he say that now? What is he specifically referring to? What might he have to discuss with Jody Allen? Well, given the fact that this was said yesterday night, and that the only thing we really heard about Jody Allen yesterday morning/afternoon was the following from Pete Carroll, it seems like he's trying to indicate that things are not as close to what we want as Carroll is trying to tell us that it is. So yesterday, Pete Carroll had a press conference, and he said a lot of things, but the main thing that people really jumped on, and the thing that people are really taking away from that press conference, was Carroll basically saying, I don't think we have to reboot. I don't think we have to rebuild. We don't have to restart. We need to just adjust a couple of little things here, a couple of things there. We need to add 1 or 2 pieces, and we're good to go. That was basically the gist of it. This quote here kind of summarizes it, but what he basically said was, I don't agree with the fact that we have to reload. Now, before I go any further, I want to say one thing. Don't take this that seriously on its surface. It may be true. It may end up being the direction this team goes this offseason. But I want you guys to consider that Carroll can only say so many things right now. He knows that he may be on the hot seat. It's at least possible. And if Pete Carroll comes out and says, yeah, we got to reboot, we got to rebuild, we got to blow this up and start over, That is tantamount to him saying, I completely screwed it up. I'm terrible at my job. Please fire me. I don't know what I'm doing. I completely screwed everything up. This is all my fault. He's not going to say that. Okay? Nobody's going to say that. That's not something you will ever see somebody say unless they are actively trying to get fired. So Carroll saying that we just need a couple of little things here and there to get back to where we want to be is him trying to defend the job he's done. I would expect any human being in this position to do that. However, maybe the more interesting part is what he said a little later in that press conference, and I'm going to go to a Greg Bell tweet for this one. Asked Pete Carroll if Jody Allen has blessed the coach's view that the Seahawks don't need to start over or change philosophy for 2022 and beyond. Carroll says Jody Allen and he have stayed in agreement on vision and franchise direction throughout. Now, again, this might be something that Carroll just has to say right now while he still has a job, but this isn't so great. If this statement is true, then that means we are going to get more of the same in 2022. We're going to get the same coaching staff, the same front office, the same basic group of players. If there is any big change, it will be probably at the quarterback position. You will be looking at keeping Pete, keeping John, keeping Norton, keeping all these things that I think we have grown generally tired of, but you may end up pushing the quarterback out. Now, Wilson has made that a possibility because of his play. At the end of the day, if we end up deciding to blame this all on Wilson and give more power to Carroll, Wilson has enabled that as a possibility because of his poor play. Like, I get that. Russell Wilson is not going out there playing perfect football, and he's just getting picked on by the big bully Pete Carroll, who's putting everything on him despite Wilson being perfect. This is not that. This is legitimately I don't think it's the right assessment for this season, but it is a fair assessment based in evidence and facts that a person could come to. You could look at this season and go, you know what? Wilson might be the problem here. I don't know if Pete's the problem anymore. I think Pete might actually be doing his job. I don't agree with that, but it's defensible. It's arguable. It's based in actual things that are happening on the field every week. But nevertheless, Carroll in this interview indicates that Jody Allen is on the same page as Pete Carroll here. And again, I don't know if that's true or not. That's something that could easily be just something you say in the middle of the week, in the middle of the season, and then in 2 weeks, Carroll gets canned, and everyone forgets that this quote was ever said. It's just something that Carroll says trying to protect his ass and try to guard what he's done and try to defend himself as being a competent football mind. But the only thing that this Cam tweet could be in reply to, based off this timing, would be that. The fact that Jody Allen is in agreement with Carroll that things just need to stay the same with a couple of minor changes going into 2022. So Cam sees that, and he says, I don't agree. And Kam Chancellor would not be the first former Seahawk player to come out and say negative things about some of the higher-ups in this organization, some of the bigger pieces in this organization. We've spent a lot of time talking about how some of these outgoing players have a lot of negative things to say about Russ. Same goes for Carroll. And if Cam is making this tweet as an indication that he believes Carroll is toast, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Let me know what you guys think down below. Very interesting development here. Want to see where this goes for sure. But, hey, if there's one former Seahawk that has a lot of pull, it's Kam Chancellor. When Richard Sherman says something, we kind of dismiss it as, oh, he's just being bitter. When Earl Thomas says something, that guy's kind of crazy. Michael Bennett, he's a little crazy too, maybe. But Cam, people are going to listen. See you guys later. Go Hawks.